Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, we are going to be tackling, get it, it's a football video, Week 2 quarterback start or sit decisions. We are going to be talking about all the quarterbacks in every single matchup for week number 2. If you guys want to see running backs, wide receivers, or tight ends, those are going to be on my channel. Quarterback is going to be the first video of the day. Tight end is going to be the second video of the day. So if you guys do end up enjoying at any point, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Now, before we go in depth on these quarterbacks for this week, let you guys hear a sponsor note real quick from my sponsor over at overlaydfs.com. OverlayDFS.com offers a new game titled the Matchup Shop. It is the easiest way to win money in the fantasy football, daily fantasy sports industry. It is so easy to understand. Pretty much all it is betting player versus player on each of these matchup posted. There's a million matchups here that you can go ahead and look at. There's Thursday, there's Sunday, and there is Monday, and the lines do move. So understanding how the price works. So you're getting minus 2.5 on Nick Chubb. So Nick Chubb, whatever point total he gets in fantasy football based upon the rules on the website, minus 2.5 points. Jarvis Landry on the other side of it gets plus 2.5 points. It is very simple to figure out. If you play fantasy football, you should be able to easily dominate on this website, so make sure you guys check it out. OverlayDFS.com, and I make videos every week showing you guys which players to pick so you guys can win that big moolah, so make sure you guys check it out. OverlayDFS.com. And we are back. Let's get right into it. Week 2 quarterback start or sit decisions. We begin on Thursday night, tonight's game. Bengals at the Cleveland Browns. Now, in this game, I'm going to be sitting down both of the former number one picks in the NFL draft, Joe Burrow and Baker Mayfield. Now, there's definitely potential for this game to be a high-scoring one involving both quarterbacks playing quite well. And that would not surprise me at all. But I feel like Joe Burrow is still getting out those rookie kinks, those things that we saw last week. As the game went on, the guy progressed and looked better and better from the first quarter on. Now, I think up against the Browns, Joe Burrow will probably have a much better game, but I don't think he's worthy of starting just yet in fantasy football. Maybe a couple of weeks from now, though, we could see Joe Burrow being that guy that you picked up off the waiver wire and is a locked and loaded go on a weekly basis. For Baker Mayfield, I just don't know how this team is going to run in this game. I feel like last week they kind of got routed by the Ravens and they weren't able to implement the plan that I think they want to use, which is Kevin Stefanski's plan of run the ball gently down the stream, run the fucking ball a million times. They just were not simply able to do that last week because they were getting riverboated like Riverboat Ron would do of the Washington football team. They were just getting ass fucked by the defense, so they had no idea what to do. Lamar Jackson scoring a million points. Baker Mayfield struggling, so I don't know if Baker Mayfield will be able to get his mojo back, but I think he plays fine in this game. I just don't think he's worthy of a start in fantasy football. Now on to the Sunday slate. We begin with the Atlanta Falcons at the Dallas Cowboys, and to me, this is a no-brainer. We saw Matt Ryan play very well up against the Seattle Seahawks last week. We saw how Jared Goff kind of dissected that Cowboys defense last week. I think you go ahead and lock and load Matt Ryan in this game. I think he has another excellent week in fantasy football. You drafted him for a reason as like a top 10 quarterback. I think yet again this week he defines that role, which would make him a start. Dak Prescott now also going to be a start in this game. Now, last week, Dakota Prescott was not as good as I kind of expected him to be up against the LA Rams, but now he's playing up against the Falcons. The Falcons just got eviscerated. They got cooked on by Russell Wilson. And I think Dak Prescott can do the same thing. The Falcons' defense is just not very good, if I'm being honest with you. That defense is going to get routed, which causes Matt Ryan to have to throw the ball a lot, which is why we like Matt Ryan. And if the defense is shit, Dak Prescott should be able to easily dice up and dissect that defense like he was dissecting a frog in a high school biology class. So I like Dak Prescott inside of this game up against the Falcons at home in Jerry's World. Next game here, we got the Broncos at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, Big Ben made his triumphant return to the football world after, I think it was week 3 of last season, and it was beautiful. It made my eyes water. It made something else water downstairs, if you know what I'm saying, but I'm not a woman, so I guess that doesn't make very much sense. But with that said, Big Ben Roethlisberger looked like the big man on campus. He eviscerated that Giants defense. He played so well that I think Ben Roethlisberger will play good again up against the Broncos. The Tennessee Titans really destroyed the Broncos. I just scared the fuck out of myself for some reason, but Tannehill really played good against them. The problem was that Gostkowski just didn't kick any of the field goals. They should have been up by like 12 or something by the end of the game, but they only win by a little bit. Big Ben is going to have a great game this week up against the Broncos, even up against a tougher defense. Big Ben always plays really good at home. I'm going to be sitting down horse cock Drew Lock in this game. I think that Drew Lock had a pretty solid outing last week up against the Titans, but the Kinks definitely have to get down with him as well. Now, he was a rookie last year, but understand he only played 5 games. That was his 6th game ever in the NFL, and he missed some key passes that really could have put the Broncos put the Titans in a coffin. He missed that pass deep down the field, I believe, to Tim Patrick, threw it straight over his head. It could have been an easy touchdown. That literally would have ended the game. But he missed. And those are the kind of things that you have to hit against the Steelers, and I just think the Steelers' defense is a little too strong for horsecock Drew Lock this week, but I do expect him to be a great quarterback, or not even a great quarterback, but a very solid quarterback by the end of this season. Next game, we got the Carolina Panthers at the Buccaneers, and now I'm believing right here that Tom Brady just destroys the Panthers. He's pissed off. He lost to Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints. He just didn't play that well, and I frankly think that this game is his redemption. He's going to be pissed off that people are going to be talking about how Tom Brady is not the guy, how Tom Brady is not what he was in New England, how Bill Belichick was the reason why he was good, how he's a system quarterback, all things that I have said myself. He is going to listen to my video right now. I guarantee you he's listening, and he's getting fired up listening to me talk about that. Now, I understand he's definitely not watching. Okay, he's probably too busy kissing his son. But with that said, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to play good in this game, and I believe Tom Brady has top 5 potential up against the garbage-ass Panthers defense. I'll be sitting down Teddy Roosevelt, Teddy B, in this game. Actually played quite well up against the Las Vegas Raiders last week, but I don't think that he's going to play as good up against the Buccaneers, so I would sit him down. And even if he was good, his good is probably like top 16 quarterback, top 18. It's not top 12 potential, at least in this matchup. Next game, we got my Miami Dolphins going up against the Buffalo Bills in Hard Rock Cafe Stadium in Florida. I'm going to be starting up Josh Allen in this game. Now, I do worry that the Dolphins' defense is very good cornerback-wise, that Xavier Howard and Byron Jones may be a little tough for Josh Allen to be able to kind of dissect. But Xavier Howard wasn't used all that much last week because he came off the PUP, I believe, 2 weeks before the start of the season. They're kind of slowly introducing him into the defense. So I don't think he'll be super involved. I think Josh Allen does have a good game here. Even if the corners are shutting down, Josh Allen will just say, fuck it, I'll do it myself. Kind of like Lamar Jackson, but worse, I guess, because he can't, like, juke the shit out of the whole defense. But Josh Allen will be able to run the ball against the Dolphins. I think there's going to be a run-heavy attack, which will open up the game to run for Josh Allen. And I assume he honestly just vultures a touchdown on the 1-yard line, hops over the whole Dolphins defense, and supplants himself into the end zone. I love Josh Allen this week up against my Dolphins. I'm sitting down Ryan Fitzpatrick last week because this man threw 3 INTs. I think that if there is going to be a crowd there, actually, in Miami, they're going to be chanting for one thing, and if Ryan Fitzpatrick doesn't play very well, week 3 just might be time. It might be Tua time. It really well might be. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick ends up playing okay in this game, but nothing worthy of a start, especially against this tough Buffalo Bills defense, with potentially Devontae Parker missing the game or still being limited. Next game up is the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Tennessee Titans. Now, I love Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew set a record for opening game completion percentage. This motherfucker went 19 for 20 last week up against Phillip Rivers and the Colts. He dropped a deuce straight in their mouth, and he waffle stomped it down like he took a shit in the shower straight on Phillip Rivers' face. But with that said, against the Titans defense, this may be a little bit tougher for Gardner Minshew. That's why he's a sit. But I wouldn't be surprised. Gardner Minshew, the Minshew magic, whatever you want to call him, I truly wouldn't be surprised if Minshew just went off against them, but using my mind realistically, I think he will struggle against the Titans, so he's a sit. Ryan Tannehill, not even a great fantasy football quarterback this year, in my opinion. I just feel like they're really going to look to run the ball, and that's what the Titans do against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Derrick Henry owns the Jaguars organization. You're going to see after the game the wiki page for the Jaguars. It'll say, instead of owned by whatever that guy's name is, who also has a sick mustache, to be changed to owned by Derrick Henry. Literally, Derrick Henry rushing against the Jaguars last year got uploaded to Pornhub. That's how you know how good Derrick Henry is. is up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Next game, we got the 49ers at the Jumbo Jets. I'm sitting down Jimmy Garoppolo in this game. Now, Jimmy Garoppolo would have an excellent start up against the Jumbo Jets, but with the worry of Kittle potentially not being 100% or not playing, with the wide receiver core decimated, with it seeming like fucking Mohamed Sanu might be his number one option, who's new to the team, I just don't think I want to start Jimmy Garoppolo. I wouldn't be surprised if he played well, but with the deficiencies at the wide receiver core, with it being injured, I would just stay away from Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm also sitting down Mono Man Sam in this game. Sam Darnold looked atrocious against the Buffalo Bills, and I have no idea if it's Sam Darnold or if it's the coaching or it's a mix of both, which I probably assume it is. I'm just sitting down Sam Darnold, even up against a kind of beaten 49ers defense. Next game here, we got the Vikings at the Colts. You like that? Kirk Cousins versus Phillip Rivers with 30,000 kids. I'm going to go ahead and sit both of these guys in this game. Kirk Cousins, young, if I die, I die, is what he said about Corona. If he gets it, if he dies playing football, because he's just a football guy, and I respect that. But with that said, I don't think he plays all that good up against the Indianapolis Colts. It seems like the game plan from Zimmer is to just jam the ball down the throat of every defense, is to not let Kirk Cousins throw the ball. Motherfucker threw it like 6 times in the first half. They just don't want to throw the ball with Kirk Cousins. They just don't want him to fuck it up. But when they throw it, he throws it to Adam Thielen 7,000 times so you can project that he has a good game. Kirk Cousins, don't love him in this game, but he likes that against the Colts. And I'm sitting down Phillip Rivers as well. Just don't think Phil to throw Rivers even against this defense. I think they're just going to try to run the ball a lot with Jonathan Taylor and dump the ball off a lot to Nyheim Hines. So sure, Rivers might end up with potentially 2-3 touchdowns, but I'm just not sure that that's going to happen up against the Vikings. Next game here, we got the L.A. Rams at the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I like both quarterbacks in this game. I'd give Jared Goff more of an rating, though, because I'm just not sure he's going to be the one throwing the touchdowns. It seems like they might just hit it with the bulldozer Malcolm Brown when they get close to the end zone. But this does seem like a matchup that Jared Goff will be able to dice up like an onion in Gordon Ramsay's kitchen. So I think that Jared Goff could have a good game, just kind of tempering my expectation due to the fact that he's Jared Goff. And for the Philadelphia Eagles, I like Carson Wentz in this game. He got eaten for breakfast with 0 milk consumed. It was just Carson Wentz. He wasn't even, I don't know how I was trying to make a joke. I forgot what I was going to say. But Carson Wentz, look, he got destroyed last week. He got sacked 8 times. Let's hope that doesn't happen. I actually do hope it happens because I like the Rams defense this week. But as a whole, I think Carson Wentz plays okay in this game. Both of the tight ends, Ertz and Goddard, are healthy, and that's all that matters for Wentz to potentially put up 2 or 3 touchdowns in this matchup up against the Rams. Next game here, we got the Detroit Lions at the Green Bay Packers. Now, the Lions always play close in this matchup. It's just always close for some reason. They typically end up losing it because, hey, that's what the Detroit Lions do. They start with an L in Lion because they're the fucking losers. They always end up losing, which is very sad for me because I love Matthew Stafford. I love him in this game. The Packers don't have the greatest defense. Matthew Stafford is a pretty solid quarterback. He does have the weapons there. I would like him much better if Kenny Golladay ends up playing on Sunday. So obviously monitor that. I'd still play him without it. Matthew Stafford's stat line last week would have looked much better with that touchdown that DeAndre Swift just had wide open. The ball was soaring through the air, was going in slow motion. It's like DeAndre Swift's wide fucking open. That's game. Kissing Titties Trubisky is going to get sent home out of Detroit and maybe lose his job to 9-inch Nick. But instead, the guy fumbles the ball. 9-inch Nick now without a starting job. But I do like Matthew Stafford in this game. Thinks he puts up a solid one up against the Green Bay Packers because he always does. Aaron Rodgers literally did a tag team affair. Him and Devontae Adams went like this, and they Eiffel Towered the shit out of the Minnesota Vikings. I think Aaron Rodgers puts up another big game this week. Top 5 quarterback potentially. I didn't believe in him. But by God, this guy must be pissed off that they drafted Jordan Love to be behind him. He must be pissed off. He's on a revenge tour, and that revenge tour ends with the Lions asshole getting opened up by Aaron Rodgers. Next game, we got the New York Football Giants at the Chicago Bears. I'm sitting down kissing Titties Trubisky because this fantasy football, you don't get a point per titty kissed. That doesn't exist. You get points for touchdowns, for yards. Even against the Giants, he probably could do well. I'm just not going to believe in him. I think that game last week was a fluke. It was a matter of bad coaching by the Matt Patricia's pencil in the ear motherfucker and the Detroit Lions. So I don't think he's going to be able to do that again. And Danny Dimes, just don't feel like this is an excellent game for him against a tougher defense in the Chicago Bears. Next game onto the 4 o'clock slate. If you guys have enjoyed this video again thus far, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. I would really appreciate it. The Kansas City Chiefs at the LA Superchargers. Obviously, you drafted Pat Mahomes early. You're fucking playing him. Even up against a tougher Chargers defense, wouldn't be surprised if he ended up as the numero uno quarterback on the week. I'm sitting down Teddy Bridgewater, who doesn't even play in this game. That is not what I meant at all. I'm sitting down Tyrod fucking Taylor. It is a little bit late when I'm recording this, so I just typed in the wrong name. I do apologize for that, but both guys' names do start with a T, and Tyrod Taylor is no bueno as well. I don't love this matchup for him. The Chiefs' defense will eat him alive, even if they don't have a great defense. Tyrod Taylor just seems like a game manager. He seems like a guy that could throw 3 touchdowns in this matchup, could throw just 1. Could be Austin Eckler just defeating the defense by eating them alive. So I don't love Tyrod Taylor. He's pretty much not a start any single week. Any quarterback that I would deem really as a game manager just isn't going to be a start for me any given week on fantasy football. Next game here, we got the Washington football team at the Arizona Cardinals. Now, Mr. 5'6", I'm going to do my best Kyler Murray impression. Are you guys ready? Now I'm at the height of Kyler Murray. With that said, Kyler Murray, that was funny, wasn't it? Kyler Murray is going up against the Washington football team. The Washington football team's front 7, very good. Kyler Murray is going to have to maneuver out of that goddamn pocket. He's going to be zicking. He's going to be zagging. He's going to be doing it all against the Washington football team, but I believe he will be able to overcome that. He played great up against the 49ers last week. I believe the Niners have a better defense than the Washington football team, so I think he could do great in this game as well, and I'm sitting down Dwayne Haskins. He's gotten promoted from Dwayne Trash Can Haskins because he defeated the Philadelphia Eagles last week. He also is a game manager. Ron Rivera just makes sure that he can do just enough to win. That's the situation they put him in. Do just enough to win the game. That's what he does. Dwayne Trash Can Haskins, no longer Dwayne Haskins, going to be a sit for me. Next game, we got the Baltimore Ravens at the Houston Texans. And you guessed it, Lamar Jackson is a fucking start. You drafted him early. Against the Texans, we saw Pat Mahomes go crazy last week, so I think Lamar Jackson plays great against them as well, just like he did up against the Cleveland Browns. And Deshaun Watson, don't love him this week. Still a top 12 guy, but much closer to 12 than he would be of like a top 5 guy due to playing up against the Ravens' tough defense. I think Deshaun Watson does still play fine and is still worthy of starting. I just would temper my expectations based upon what we saw last week against the Chiefs on Thursday night. Now onto the Sunday night matchup between the Patriots at the Seattle Seahawks, and I did not wait all goddamn day to watch Cam Newton play up against Russell Wilson, but it is a good fantasy matchup. Cam Newton, Russell Wilson, both starts in this game. We saw Russ cook like he was Gordon fucking Ramsay in the kitchen. I actually used that earlier, so he was cooking them like Bobby Flay in the kitchen, or like Guy Fury. Either of them. Russell Wilson balled out against the Atlanta Falcons. I don't expect so much balls to the wall play. I expect them to try to run the ball more because they were just eaten alive. The Atlanta Falcons defense, they had Falcon for dinner, and it was raw because Russell Wilson raw dogged that defense. Russell Wilson's going to play great again, though, up against the Patriots. Cam Newton looked good up against the Dolphins. I expect him to look a bit better this week up against the Seattle Seahawks and Pete Carroll. Final game of the slate, Monday Night Football. The New Orleans Saints at the Las Vegas Raiders in their debut in the new Raiders Vegas Stadium. I like Drew Brees in this game. I like Drew Brees in every game. Top 12 start against the Raiders. Not a hot defense. Drew Brees going to have a good game against them. I like the Raiders as a team for the future. I like Mr. Josh Jacobs, but I don't love the defense, and I think Drew Brees normally does very good against bad defenses, and I'm sitting down Derek Carr in this game. I just don't believe he does all that much, though definitely a guy that I like and I hope has a good career because a lot of people really just hate Derek Carr. So, thank you guys all for watching. I hope you had a great time. If you did, make sure you go down below and click that little button that says subscribe. I would really appreciate it. I would also appreciate if you checked out my sponsor, OverlayDFS.com. I would also appreciate if you had a great rest of your day. That really means a lot to me, that you guys all had a fun time watching this video, and it sort of maybe brightened up your day, or just made you have fun for 20 minutes, however long this video is. So I really do appreciate it. I do hope you guys have a great rest of your guys' day. I hope you have fun in the next video that is coming in a bit on tight ends. I love you all. Have a great rest of your guys' day, and I'll see you motherfuckers later. Goodbye!